Most men never realize this. The men women remember the longest are not always the loudest, the funniest, or the most attractive. They're the ones who changed how she felt about herself when she was alone. Not when her phone was lighting up, not when attention was everywhere, but in the quiet moments, late at night, when everything was still. There's always one man who lives there. Not the one who tried to impress her, but the one who quietly reshaped her inner world. He didn't announce his strength. He didn't explain who he was. He didn't chase reassurance. He simply moved differently. And that difference stayed with her. Today, I want to explain why some men fade from memory, while others remain unforgettable, even years later, long after she's moved on. This isn't about manipulation. It's about presence. It's about weight. It's about a man who knows who he is before he ever reaches for connection. Let's begin. Point 1. The man who is comfortable with silence. Most men are afraid of silence. They rush to fill it with jokes, stories, reassurance, words. But the man she remembers doesn't rush. When there's a pause, he lets it exist. And something interesting happens. She starts to talk more, she reveals more. Because silence creates pressure, and pressure reveals truth. She notices he isn't trying to manage her emotions. He isn't performing, he's grounded. Silence, when held with calm, feels like confidence. It says, I don't need noise to exist. And the quieter he is, the stronger his presence becomes. That kind of man stays with her because he teaches her something rare. Calm doesn't ask for permission. Point 2. The man who doesn't over-explain himself. Unforgettable men don't over-justify. They say what they mean once, clearly, and they let it stand. Most men argue their boundaries. They defend, negotiate, and plead to be understood. But the man she remembers doesn't chase understanding. If she misunderstands him, he doesn't scramble to fix it. Not from ego, but from self-trust. A man who knows himself doesn't need to convince anyone, and that creates tension. It forces her to sit with uncertainty, to wonder, to reassess. Mystery doesn't come from hiding. It comes from not overexposing. And when a man isn't desperate to be understood, he becomes difficult to forget. Point 3. The man who isn't shaken by her emotions. Here's a hard truth. Most men let a woman's emotions dictate their inner state. If she's happy, they're calm. If she pulls away, they panic. If she's upset, they collapse. But the man she remembers remains steady. Not cold, not distant, stable. He listens without absorbing chaos. Her emotions don't knock him off center. And that steadiness creates safety. Because deep down, she's testing something. Can this man stay grounded when things get heavy? When he can, she feels held. And she never forgets the man who made her feel secure without trying to control her. Point 4. The man who doesn't rush intimacy. Most men are in a hurry. They want closeness now, validation now, depth now. But unforgettable men move slowly, not out of fear but out of discernment. They don't force connection. They allow it to unfold. They let attraction breathe. And that patience changes everything. When a man doesn't rush, she starts leaning in. She invests. She wonders why he isn't pushing like everyone else. And eventually, the answer becomes clear. He isn't desperate. He's selective. A man who can wait signals abundance without saying a word. And time is powerful, because what grows slowly grows deep. Point 5. The man who accepts loss without rewriting the story. This is the part almost no one talks about. The man she never forgets is the one who can lose her without losing himself. Most men try to rewrite the ending. They argue the past. They demand to be seen differently. They chase closure like survival. But the unforgettable man lets the story be what it was. If it ends, it ends. He doesn't beg to be remembered correctly. He doesn't fight for his image. He understands that not every chapter needs explanation. And that restraint is powerful, because it says, I don't need to control how you remember me. That space invites reflection. She revisits moments. She reinterprets meanings. Because when a man doesn't fight memory, memory does the work for him. Here's what you need to understand. Being unforgettable has nothing to do with tricks or tactics. It's about self-command. It's about a man who refuses to abandon himself just to be chosen. When you master your pace, your reactions, your attention, you stop trying to leave an impression and you start being one. And the irony is this: The men remembered the longest aren't trying to be remembered at all. They're too busy being whole, and that wholeness echoes long after they're gone.